so they can be, you can drop them off at room number 35 and come here for the meeting. If you haven't signed in, please come forward and sign in and grab our agendas and reports. And we will get started shortly. Thank you. I repeat, for our new parents, please come forward and sign in. And if you would like to drop off your kids in room number 35, we have childcare available. We're going to be playing a movie, and snacks and water available. If you would like, just for housekeeping, we have restrooms at the back of the auditorium. This side is women's, the men's is on the left. We also have snacks available here on the right. We have some muffins and fruit, water, and snacks for the kids, so please enjoy. Once again, good evening, parents of Dahle Avenue. I call the meeting to order at 6:35. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. It's an important meeting where we have lots of business to cover. Just a couple of reminders again. We have childcare in room number 35 if you would like to leave your kids there. We have a supervisor and we have water and snacks in there. And please enjoy the snacks that we have available in here. Welcome to the third association meeting of Dahle PTA for this school year. Moving on, I'd like to request Scott to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's all rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I now request Sarika, our secretary, to come up and present the minutes of the previous meeting.
The meeting minutes from January 22nd were presented to the minutes committee, and you have a copy here. I request a motion to approve them as presented. Can I get it first? Aye. Thank you, Diana. Second? Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarika. Moving on, I'd like to give a special shout out to our teacher representatives, Ms. Rother and Ms. Rivoli, who are here with us today. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us all through the year. Next is our principal's update from Mrs. Oakland.
I feel so tall when I'm up here. Well, thank you for being here. Those of you that are here, we really appreciate it. I know Ms. Dahle has a wonderful presentation. Looking forward to hearing it myself tonight. Big thank you to PTA. I have to say that everything that they have done this year, this has been one of the best PTAs, just in terms of their strength together and everything that they've done. We had a fabulous theme night. I know that we have parents in the audience that were very involved with it. It was wonderful Friday night. It's just so great to see the kids that are super excited to be here and to be actually doing science and math and art. So just wonderful activities this year. So I do want to say thank you to our PTA, all of you in this room, because I know every single one of you has helped do something to make those things happen. Last week we had a side-by-side concert at the high school where our 5th graders played with the high school students and some of our 4th graders as well. And it was just a fabulous concert to see the start of the year where some of our kids are barely making sounds, and if you have a 4th and 5th grader at home, you probably know what I mean, just in terms of them practicing, to actually sitting next to a high schooler and making just the most amazing music. This Saturday, we also celebrated 2 of our students at the 1st District Reflections PTA. We had 2 students, I believe they made 2nd and 3rd place. It's a big accomplishment because I believe there's about 50 districts that send all their top winners, and to have 2 of our students be recognized was really a great way to celebrate a Saturday morning. Coming up, we have our open house next week. I know that you will all be here because you're here at the PTA meeting, so that means you're coming to events. The open house is really a time to celebrate and see the kids work. Some of the kids and some of the teachers say things from the beginning of the year to see their writing at the beginning of the year and then see their progress at this time of year. You really see the growth, and the kids just love it, and they love to be able to share and to show their work off. So I know you're going to have a wonderful event, and then we go into spring break. And when we get back, gosh, I think we only have about 5 weeks. It's hard to believe that we're at the end of this year already. Testing will be happening for all students, but then the big testing the first that's our state testing. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Oakland, for that lovely update. Moving on, we have our guest for tonight. I welcome Ms. Erin Dahle to the stage. She's our academic program coach here at Dahle Avenue, and she's here with some tips and tricks, probably, on how we can support our students when they appear for their student state testing in April and May. So it's going to be a fun evening, guys. Enjoy.
Always a good day. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ms. Dahle. I am the academic program coach, as was shared with you just a moment ago. I have been here at Dahle Avenue. This is my 21st year, and I'm so thrilled to be here. This is my home, and it's a great place to have your children. We love having them here, and they're the reason we come to work every day. What I'm going to be sharing with you tonight is a preview of what our state testing looks like. It has changed over time, and this will be the current model of testing that the state requires of us for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. At any time, if you want to get a copy of this presentation, I have a QR code, and then also down tiny at the bottom, there's the bit.ly or a shortened link, but you should be able to scan the QR code and pull it up as well. I tested it, so it should be working. CAASP, you might hear your kids refer to it as CASP, or you might have heard that discussion, stands for the Platform, the California Assessment Platform. Okay? There's 2 specific kinds of testing that your students will be participating in. There's Smart or Balanced, sometimes referred to as SBA, and that covers language arts, so reading and writing, and it also covers mathematics. And then if you're a lucky 5th grader or have a 5th grade student, in 5th grade they also take the California Science Test. And that covers science that has been instruction provided from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So that's just the big picture of the kind of testing that's coming up. First and foremost, this is only one measure of what your students can do. This is a measure of their academics currently. It does not describe all the other wonderful things that we know your children have inside and demonstrate on a daily basis. They are wonderful humans. This is just one opportunity to check in and see where they are in their learning in grades 3, 4, and 5. Just so you're aware, these are the dates, the windows that we will be giving these assessments by grade level. There are a few days afterwards, so as kids need additional time to finish their tests because these are not timed, we do have extra time that students can come. They typically come hang out with me to finish up. If they have a few more questions to finish, they need extra time. There is that window in there. If they're sick one day, we're available to make up the tests. So our windows for 5th grade begin on the 30th, April the 30th. It's a couple days early this year because, as many of you 5th grade parents know, our students have a wonderful opportunity to go to Dahle, so we want to make sure that we get them tested within the window and makeup testing completed before the end of the school year, because we have a deadline. They will be taking the science first, then language arts, and then math, and it's broken up. Each is a different week. So we don't want to wear them out testing 5 days a week all day long. We want to give them time to relax. So that's April 30th through May 14th with makeup testing or additional time as needed. And our 3rd and 4th graders, lucky them, only have language arts and math to cover. And so for them, it will begin on the 6th of May, and we should be done with the formal testing windows by the 14th, leaving time for makeups as well. to read what the state provides in terms of what testing is, what does it measure, how do you access the reports once the kids have finished their assessments. There are parent guides linked here. The first one explains what the state, the purpose is, who takes tests, why do they give it. There are these multiple languages here. These are PDFs from the state's website. You are welcome to click on them and read very short snippets, more information about why and who we're testing. Language arts and math is combined, and then science has its own separate description. The one thing I would like to point out is that up here, this science link right here, it's also a link to explain what kinds of things are being measured by the science test. So there's parent guides available to you. You can click on them directly and read them in your most comfortable language. So you're going to hear, either from students, from teachers, you're going to hear a lot of letters being thrown at you. The SBOB, the CAT test, the PT test. So what does all of that mean in regular language? There are two particular kinds of tests on the Smarter Balance. That's our language and our math tests. The CAT test is a computer adaptive test. There are multiple choice, they're off fill in the blank, and these are the kinds of questions that students typically will do. These are the questions on the homework, when your students bring home homework. Those are the ones that kids are willing to do. It's the writing questions at the bottom of math, and kids are like, I don't want to have to write and explain. That's a performance task. So they've been doing this on a regular basis all year long with their teachers. The computer adaptive test, what makes it adaptive is as students answer questions correctly, it scales up the difficulty or the depth of the question. So if you're a third grader and you're answering questions correctly, it's going to offer the students a more in-depth question. It's going to get more specific. It's going to dig deeper into the standard. It's not going to give them a 4th grade question. It's not going to give them a 5th grade question. It's going to drill down to see how deep they can go into that particular content area standard. So it keeps them within their grade level. It just makes the question more complex. It adjusts automatically if a student answers one incorrectly. It will dial a question back a bit to measure how deeply they understand the content area standard. So it adjusts based on its responses that are being provided. The student is scored on correct answers along with the level of difficulty of the question. So kids are getting very personalized questions, and the value of their score, it goes higher based on the level of difficulty. Questions about that so far? Okay, excellent. The performance task is more like a hands-on critical thinking task. For the language arts, it's going to be essay writing. The students will be presented with articles to read about a particular topic. Let's say they want to learn about endangered animals. So they will be given 2 or 3 articles to read. Oftentimes they're given a video, very, very similar to what we do with our writing benchmarks. And then the students will be given a question. They will then have to determine whether they're being asked to write a narrative or a story based on what they've read. They might be asked to form an opinion about the topic that they've read about, or they might just be doing an informational report. So those are the 3 kinds of writings your children will be asked to do. These are all the 3 kinds of writing they're provided benchmarks on within our district. So they will have had exposure to these genres and plenty of instruction. Your teachers will be working with the students on what are the key words that they're reading to help them determine, is it an opinion? Is it informational? Is it a narrative? And hint, hint, and kids, if you're still in the audience, it's usually bold in the question. They try to make it really obvious. Okay? For math, they're going to be given a question or a problem they need to solve. And if any of you had seen Stephen doing his homework earlier, it was quite fantastic. Students will need to show their work and explain how they solved the question. So they're going to need to demonstrate their thinking, and they will have a screen that will allow them to do that. Okay. For the science tests, they are given what are called discrete items. And those are the short answer, multiple choice, fill in the blank, matching questions. They're also going to be given some performance tasks where they might have to solve an actual science-based question. They might be doing some calculations on temperature change. They could be doing some calculations on, based on reading a chart, the patterns that they see in the chart. So they're going to be given performance task type questions. With the science, they have 2 or 3 sections of the multiple choice, those discrete questions. And then they have either 3 or 4 performance task questions. And it's individualized based on a student. It's luck of the draw. It does cover earth sciences, life sciences, and physical sciences. So these are things that the students have been engaged in since 3rd grade. Would you guys like to see what an actual test looks like? Because that's the most eye-opening piece. Okay. On this slide here, there's a few different links that I want to share with you, just so you get the big picture of what it's going to look like within the classroom setting. And then we will click on the practice test links. And there's even a set of directions, so if you're at home and you want to practice with your kids, they can't say, oh no, I don't remember how to get on the test. Or if they've, which I have done this in the past, I give many lessons in the classrooms. I say, go home and make your parents take the test. So they might come home and say, okay, Mom and Dad, you're going to have to do the kind of test that we do. So they'll model for you how to do these practice tests. And directions are right here where it says accessing the practice tests. One of the grade level teams at Highland Oaks provided the most updated step-by-step with pictures of how to do it. It is phenomenal. It's linked for you. I'm going to leave the testing strategies for the very end. They're very, very common sense and very simple. And these are also strategies that we teach regularly within the classroom that students are practicing in their journeys tests, in their regular SABAS or Engage New York assessments. They are practicing these strategies. In terms of the classroom setting, just so you're aware, students cannot have their cell phones in the classroom with them during testing. They must be turned off, and it's up to the teacher, and as parents, I want you to have an informed decision. Either you can recommend your child keep their telephone in their backpack and turned off, or if you prefer that the teacher has it on their desk turned off until testing is over, that's a discussion for you to have with your child's teacher, and they'll tell you, they'll be giving you more information as we get closer. But we are not allowed to have phones on within the classroom. Students can also not have their smartwatches. Now in elementary school, kids are not using this magical device to call home and ask their parents the answers to their questions. This is a bigger problem in high school and in middle school. Thankfully not in Arcadia because they're wonderful children. That being said, these are state expectations, so the watches need to be both powered off and outside in backpacks or held by the teachers. They can be turned back on, whatever the compliance procedure is for your child in their classroom at school. That will resume as soon as testing is complete. They can have the devices, they just can't be calling home in the middle of class as usual. Okay? So just know if your child's device turns off and you track them that way, they haven't gone anywhere, they're just testing. All right, so let's take a look at what the practice test looks like. If you have students who are taking the LPAC or have a dual language, there's also practice tests for the LPAC, the English language assessment that they will be doing. All of that can be found here as well. And I'm sure Mr. Twain will be sharing more information with you should that apply to you and your students. What you want to do is you will go over here to the section that says practice and training tests for students. Right over here all the way to the right. And they're going to click on the blue button, Student Access. I remind my students that when we practice in class, we're always going to go in as a guest, because that way they don't know if we get the questions right or wrong. Typically in the classroom, we will use these as models. We'll discuss the questions. We'll talk about how you select the best answer, but we leave everything set as guest. It'll sign them in. You're going to pick a grade level. Sure, that'd be great. Thank you. There's only a couple more clicks, I promise. Do we have any third, fourth, or fifth grade families in here? I'm just trying to figure out which grade level. Let's see, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. Well, it's pretty even. Okay, let's go with, to be fair, many of these have the same questions for all grade levels. Go ahead and pick fourth just to hit in the middle. Thank you. And then you're going to pick Smarter Balanced, and practice tests are longer. Okay? The training tests are shorter, and those are ones that your teachers will be doing in the classroom. You're welcome to do them if you want at home, as many times as you want. And it's going to say there's 101 out of 99 tests. If you could go ahead and click Start Grade 4 ELA Practice. They're going to see a settings page. These are all predetermined, so if you want to go ahead and just click Select at the bottom. You don't have to make any changes to your platform. And this is the sound that haunts me, starting in March all the way till June. You have to play this lovely video. And while you can hear it on the computer back here, you're going to hear doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. The kids will come home singing it because they hear it every single day. As long as they can hear the sound and see the little dancing musical notes, we would click. Go ahead and click the green button, sound and video. If you can't hear it, refresh it, try again. It's usually because headphones aren't plugged in all the way. And then go ahead and click on Begin Test Now. This is extremely zoomed in, which is fine. I want you to recognize the complexity of what students are seeing on the screen. They are being given, on the left side of the screen, a story or an informational article they're going to need to read, and they're going to be given questions on the right side. The best strategy I can offer all students is to read the questions first, see what you're going to be reading for. What is the purpose of reading for? In this particular question, having given this test quite a few times, I saw something that talks about inferencing, and we're going to have to find a sentence that supports making your best guess based on the information you already know. So then what I would do is, remembering that I need to draw a conclusion about the inference, then I go back and I read the passage. Read it 2 times. The first time, just to make sure you understand what the words are telling you, and if there's anything you're stuck on, you can try and clarify that. At home, ask grown-ups, go ahead and ask them, is there anything that's confusing to you? If you're able to explain to them vocabulary terms, maybe what they're asking, you can have those dialogues. We want students to read it at least once for the big idea, and then the second time again, you're reading to find the answer to the question. There is a lot of information on one page. Sometimes there are multiple questions on a page. So could you scroll down just a bit on the right side of the screen? So in this particular case, there's only one question. Can you click on the tab that says number 3 on the right side? I think that one has multiple ones. There might be shorter questions that ask you to explain a vocabulary term, but all of the questions that are tagged there across the top, with the laser guide, oh, there we go. Across the top there, these are all tied to the passage that the students have to read. So the questions are long. We have been building up our endurance to get through these, but that's what this is going to look like. Okay? In the classroom, your teachers will be modeling for them different tools that are available, how to zoom in and zoom out. When your children are at home, let them play with these different tools to see, is it going to help them stay focused and answer questions, or is it just something that's going to get in the way? Because the first day kids always like to press all the buttons and see what happens. If it's not going to be useful, we don't want to use it. And we talk about why it would be helpful or not. Just so you're aware, up in the very top right corner, there's something called Line Reader. It's in a circle, and it has a green line. If you click that, what it will do, and this, for me, if I get distracted, when I hover over what I'm reading, as I scroll down, the Line Reader will help me stay focused on the line I'm reading. That's especially helpful when there's a lot on a screen, so you can make sure that you're not skipping lines, you're not reading too fast or too slow. So those are things that are available. This is a lot on one page, isn't it? Your kids are ready for it. We practice this, but it is a lot. Any questions about what this looks like initially? I strongly encourage you to click on these at home, look and explore different grade levels. Click on and explore the LPAC testing, even if you have a child who's not taking the LPAC. Go ahead and look at the science questions. These are all public questions that have been released from the actual test. They're no longer used, sorry. Again, the directions for how to access the practice tests, there's picture-by-picture steps, easy to follow in the format for you. And then there's the link, and you can pick whatever kind of test you want to take in there. They're all there. In terms of the testing strategies, read the question first, especially with reading passages, because if you know what you're reading for, you're going to be able to find that answer more quickly and more efficiently. The zoom in and zoom out, which is a little plus and a little minus, just like on your Chromebooks at home when you want to view larger and smaller, are available. If the kids need to make things larger, they know exactly how to use that. There's that line reader for me, and if you're a student who needs to help keep track where you are, I found that really helpful. There are often sections in a test where there's more than one question. They have put in this lovely tool this year where it will not let you go ahead if you haven't answered all the questions on a page, and it won't let you skip to the end of the test. You have to complete each one as you go, so there's no reason to worry that you're going to skip a bunch of questions. Your students will be practicing if they want to mark a question because they have maybe 2 answers in mind, and they want to go back and check it at the end. They absolutely can do that. With videos and audio pieces, they will be exposed to hearing a story, a very short conversation. They can listen more than one time. In fact, I highly encourage it. The first time you think you hear it, you're going to listen again. Again, if you've looked at the questions ahead of time, you know what you're listening for. You've primed your brain to be ready to answer those questions, and you're finding the answers efficiently. And always double check your answers. I know in class we always ask students, hey, did you check your work? Yes, I did. Did you put your name on it? Yes, I did. Where's your name? Oh. So we do encourage and we practice double checking our answers. I know I try and double check stuff, and then half the time I think I see what I did and then it's not there. These are our top test taking strategies. If you're going to be practicing these things at home, don't spend more than 20 minutes doing this. We will burn our kids out. Give them time here and there. Focus on 1 or 2 questions at a time. In class, they'll be getting plenty of time to practice where they are used to sitting and answering the questions. At home, we want them to be able to share the questions with you, ask you questions, and just get practice for the platform. Unlike me, the children learn these platforms and how to use all the tools much more quickly. They're digital natives. It's just natural for them. They explore and move right on. Any questions? Okay. Yes.
How many questions in the test?
That's a great question. You guys are lucky. Post-COVID, they have shortened the length of the test. In the language arts section, there are about 24 to 30 questions, the multiple choice on the CAT test. There are typically 2 or 3 short answer questions on the performance task, and then 1 essay writing that will cover the same articles they read for the short answer questions. So there's anywhere from 30 to 34 on the entire language arts part. In the math, they've shortened it. I believe it's around 30 as well. It might be shorter. Sometimes they sneak in a few extra questions. And then on the science, it really just depends on which segments they get. The science test seems to take longer simply because there's a lot of reading involved in it. But once they get to the math elements that's tied to the science, it tends to go faster. And they've changed that every year. So, and there's always a survey at the end, so they are very happy when they get to that survey. Other questions? Yeah.
Is the actual test a timed test?
It is not timed. We want our kids to feel comfortable answering the questions and doing their best thinking. So if you're in class, we typically give them from about 8:30, 8:45 until recess. If they need more time, let's say they get halfway done in the first hour and a half that we allot for them, they're still going to start the next test the next day. I will then pull them for makeup testing with other people, and we'll sit in my class and finish. They get as much time as they need. So there's no reason to panic about, I'm not going to finish. They will finish. They always do. All right. The best things as parents you guys can do. Number one, make sure they get a good night's sleep to the best of your ability. If they have devices that they take to bed, maybe start weaning them off of it now. Give them time so that they're sleeping, they're getting a good night's sleep. We want to make sure that they're getting a nutritious breakfast. If you're like me, or you have a child like me who is just not wanting to eat first thing in the morning, send them with a nutritious small snack that they can eat before we start testing. Because we want their brains and their bodies to be fueled, because these tests are exhausting. They can do it, and they'll come home and you'll see them so tired because they were doing a lot of thinking. So we want to make sure that they're well fed. Get them to school on time, because even as teachers, we panic. What happens if kids come in late and we've already started the test? Once tests have started, we cannot admit kids into the classroom. They have to wait for the next testing session to begin, and that's a security reason. So that's why we also don't start them until about 8:40, but we do need kids at school on time. Sometimes our teachers will do little snacks first thing in the morning. They do some warm-up activities, some relaxation activities to get them prepared for sitting and taking this test. As a parent, the best thing you can do is encourage your child and give them words of wisdom, something each day. Hey, you know what? I know you're going to do your best. If you get to a question you don't know the answer, make your best guess. Which one do you think could be the best answer? All I want to see is that you are doing your absolute best. Encourage them. Because as an adult, even reading some of these questions, they're intimidating. But we have brilliant children who can persevere and are capable of answering these questions, and the more you build them up, the prouder they're going to be to come home and say, wow, that was hard, but I did it. When they come home at the end of the day, say, what question did you think, or did you have a question that you thought was really easy? Oh, can you describe it to me? How did you feel taking your test today? Oh, you said you felt a little nervous. Did you try taking a deep breath before you answered those tough questions? Remind them of little things they can do to help demonstrate the regulation that they need. But being as positive as you can at home and right before the test, sending them to school with a full belly and a good night's sleep, your kids are ready and they're going to do an outstanding job. Last but not least, please remember this is only one measure of our students' academic success. We have so many other tools at our disposal here at Holly Avenue to demonstrate just how brilliant our children are, and all of them are brilliant. This is just one measure. And it's a measure of how we are doing as a school teaching your children. And it tells us what do we need to do better for next year and what are we doing really well at. And I'm proud to be a part of a school that is committed to making sure that we're developing well-rounded thinkers and well-rounded humans. If you have any more questions, I'll take them now. If you're shy and you would rather email me, or if you think of one when you get home, do not hesitate. Feel free to email me if there's something I wasn't clear enough on, or you have other questions that arise, let me know. I did have a family who asked if this would be recorded, and I'm going to try and do a recorded presentation to turn it into a video, and I will share that with our PTA to share out. Hopefully, using this new platform Canva, it will work, so I will do my best to get that to everybody. Anything else I can answer for you before I let you get back to all your business? All right, well, parents, we're in the home stretch. You've done a wonderful job thus far. Just keep doing it, and we're going to have really successful student test takers. Thank you.
Okay, that was an awesome presentation. I feel bad that we don't have a full house right now, that we don't have more of our 3rd to 5th grade parents here to listen to that awesome presentation. Thank you, Ms. Dahle. That was so much food for thought. I didn't know that. I didn't know that in 3rd grade they went through that. My kid is in 4th, and I'm so glad that I was here to hear her presentation. And like she said, we will find ways to share this with the rest of the parents and make sure that the slideshow is available. So if you know friends who have kids in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade here at Dahle, please let them know that there are resources available to help them prepare and support their children. And I'm just so, every day I am more appreciative of our support staff, our teachers, and generally Dahle Avenue Schools for that amazing work they do for our kids. So big shout out and thank you to our principal, Ms. Oakland, our teachers, and Ms. Dahle, Ms. Riboli, Ms. Rothman, who are here with us today. Can you give them a big round of applause, please? Okay, moving on, we have the President's Update. We've had a busy few months since January. We started, I'm going to go through this a little quicker because we do have our nominations, but if you have any questions about whatever we finish or the events that are upcoming, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email is there on the agenda. Feel free to email me if you have any more questions. But let's just go through what we've done so far. So starting in January, we had our drawdown assembly with Mr. Kyle Tiernan. He's been here before, and the kids were split into 3 groups based on their grades, and they had an amazing time drawing some amazing pictures. You must have received them at home. I'm sure they're on your refrigerator or the wall. Moving on, in February, we had our Scholastic Book Fair. I do want to take a moment here to mention that we had a sales of about $4,218, and because of your support, parent support at the book fair, we donated more than $100 worth of books for individual classrooms. So each of our teachers was able to receive $100 worth of books for their own classroom library. And we also donated more than 180 books to our school library as part of the Scholastic Book Fair and with the support of our PTA budget. So thank you parents for your continuous support of the book fair. The more you buy, the more we can donate. The book fair was run by Erin and Sarika, who are both here today. Following that, we had a restaurant night. We partnered with Panda Express, and we raised a total of $295. It was an online fundraiser. Thank you so much for your support. And then our recent event was the Canned Food Drive. We had an astounding total of 4,565 items donated for the Foothill Community Center. And here we have the rankings of our classes. Mr. Passo took the first place, followed by Ms. Kissel. Ms. Alexanderson came in 3rd, Ms. Lowe and Ms. Nako followed in 4th and 5th place. But overall, the credit goes to all the students of Dahle Avenue for bringing in more than 4,500 canned goods for donation to the Foothill Community Center. Thank you so much. And last Friday, we had the amazing STEAM night chaired by Sarika and Alice. Oh, and by the way, the previous event was chaired by Summer and Diana. Awesome job, ladies. And here we had the STEAM night of students, and I really want to give a shout out to our parents who may or may not be here today, but we had a lot of students who came to present their science acumen. Like, they had experiments all over the cafeteria, inside and out, and I'm so proud to say that we had such a good turnover. We are incredibly grateful to our parent, Anahita from Caltech, who with her amazing partnerships brought literally a mini planetarium to the Holly Avenue cafeteria. Like, it was a surreal experience, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we had telescopes also from Caltech and the Astro Club who joined us, and like we were seeing Jupiter that night, up close, really up close. And last but not least, Anahita's amazing presentation on stars and galaxies. That's always a crowd puller. She had an amazing group of kids, so engaged and interested in what she was saying. And not to forget our awesome clubs from the Arcadia High School and our middle school students who came here, who were amazing with our little ones. Like, they were so good, talking and engaging with our kids. Like, it was just a joy to watch them. So our STEAM night was an amazing success. We had Carnegie Science, Dr. Jeff Rich, who came with the telescopes. We had Dr. Hummels, who came with his telescope. Dr. Jeff Rich came with the planetarium. I'm sorry about that. And of course, not to forget, Creative World of Arts, who brought the arts to STEAM night. Okay, now Dr. Miss Rosie Getz, the Executive Director of Creative World of Arts, was here with her own table of awesomeness, and it was just amazing to see what the kids were building and making that evening. So if you missed it, be sure to be here next year. Our upcoming events, we have our fun and most awaited family dance night coming up in April. We have a poll out right now for you to pick what the theme is going to be. We have, I think, 5 topics starting from the 60s, the 70s, 90s, or do you want a Hawaiian luau? So please do go ahead and vote on our social media posts on what you would like the theme to be for our family dance night, and it's going to be a groovy evening. Our chairs for the event are Annette and Scott, and we are also having a DJ come in who also is a dance teacher, so there's going to be some really fun dance moves going on that evening, so be sure to be there. We have a Teachers Appreciation Week happening in May 5th to May 9th. That's the week where we show how much we appreciate our teachers, our staff, and everybody here at Holly who just make our kids' days special. May 16th is our Holly's Got Talent. Flyers will be going up soon. Our forms are up. If you wish to participate, I'd like to mention here that only the first 50 entries will be selected to showcase their talent on Holly's Got Talent. So if you want to get in, be sure to send in that application as soon as you see the flyer or the link. The rehearsals will be on May 13th. The actual evening is May 16th. We have our Honorary Service Awards happening on May 21st. Here, this is an amazing opportunity for parents and the community to recognize people of Holly Avenue who just make a major difference to our children, to the community, and to our schools. So if you know of some person or an organization that you believe needs to be recognized, please go ahead and nominate them. Nominations close on April 18th, and then the award ceremony is happening on May 21st. Any questions about what we've done and what's upcoming? Okay, thank you for your support, for our parents who are here. Your engagement is how we are able to put on all these events, so thank you so much for that. And now we're coming to another important part of our business, our nominations for the upcoming board. May I request someone to please come up here and Robin, the chairperson for the nominating committee. So we will now conduct our elections. Summer, as our parliamentarian, please read the sections of the bylaws pertaining to the elections.
Hello, my name is Summer, I'm a parliamentarian, and I'm going to read the sections of the unit bylaws. Each officer or board member of this association shall be a member of the association. The officers of the association shall be a president, executive vice president, 5 vice president, recording secretary, corresponding secretary, treasurer, financial secretary, auditor, historian, and parliamentarian. These officers shall be elected annually with the exception of the parliamentarian, who shall be appointed by the president subject to the ratification of the executive board. Nominations for office shall be made by a nominating committee, which shall be elected by the association. The nominating committee shall be elected at least 2 months prior to the annual election meeting. The committee shall serve until the annual election meeting. No member shall serve on the nominating committee for 2 consecutive years. The report of the nominating committee shall be submitted to the membership at least 28 days prior to the annual election meeting. At the annual election meeting in March, additional nomination must be called for from the floor. The privilege of holding office shall be limited to members of the association whose dues are paid and who have been members of the association for at least 30 days previous to nomination. Only those persons who are eligible and who have signified their consent to serve, if elected, shall be nominated for or elected to office. Nominee for the office of president, treasurer, financial secretary, auditor, or any elected officer authorized to check shall not be related by blood or marriage or reside in the same household. The privilege of nomination and election to office for the ensuing year in this association may be extended to individuals who are already members in any PTA or PTSAA school in good standing and who, upon nomination to office, pay dues to this association in order to qualify as a member at the time of the assuming office. Election shall be held by ballot at the annual election meeting in March. If there is but one nominee for any office, the ballot for this office may be dispensed with and the election held by voice vote. If an office remains unfilled after election, it shall be considered vacant office to be filled by the board-elect.
Will the chairman of the nominating committee please present the committee report?
The Dahle Avenue Elementary PTA Nominating Committee met on February 28, 2025 to consider all eligible candidates for the 2025-2026 term of office. On behalf of the nominating committee, I present the following slate of officers for the Dahle Avenue Elementary School PTA Association's consideration. For President, Scott Bay. Executive Vice President, Vianette Simeon. First Vice President of Publicity, Faith Jolfei Zhang. Second Vice President of Ways and Means, Zeta Lu Sui. Third Vice President of Legislation, Lourdes Lewis. Fourth Vice Presidents of Membership, Robin Lee and Diana Facero. Secretary, Sarika Jahangir. Treasurer, Arina To. Financial Secretary, Yang Wen. Financial Reviewer, Judy Wu. Historian, Somya Mishra.
The Dahle Avenue Elementary PTA Nominating Committee met on February 28, 2025 to consider all eligible candidates for the 2025-2026 term of office. I present the following slate of officers for the Dahle Avenue Elementary School PTA Association's consideration. President Scott Day, Executive Vice President Vianette Simeon, First Vice President of Publicity Faith Zubei, Second Vice President of Ways and Means Zeta Luswen, Third Vice President of Legislation Lourdes Lewis, Fourth Vice Presidents of Membership Robin Nee and Diana Becerro, Secretary Sarika Jahangir, Treasurer Arina Tu, Financial Secretary Yang Wan, Financial Reviewer Judy Wu, Historian Somya Mishra. According to our bylaws, nominations from the floor are now in order. Are there any further nominations from the floor for any of the positions? Seeing none, nominations are now closed. May I request the nominees to please stand up. We have Scott Bay as President, Leonard Simeon as Executive Vice President, Publicity Faith, Ways and Means Zita, Membership Robin Lee and Diana, Secretaries Harika, Treasurer Arena 2, Financial Secretary Yang Wan, Financial Review Judy, and Historian Soumya Mishra. A big round of applause to our future board members. Thank you so much. Again, the nominee for the various PTA positions are as previously presented by Chairman Robin Lee. As there are single candidates for each office, we will conduct the elections by voice vote. Is there any objection to this procedure? All those in favor of electing the previously named individuals for the previously stated positions, say aye.
Aye.
Those against, say no. The ayes have it, and you have elected your 2025-2026 Hawley Avenue Elementary Executive Officers. Congratulations. The voice vote election is concluded. At this time, I would like to mention that the parliamentarian position is chosen by the President and not by election. It's the only PTA board position designated this way. I would like to introduce to you Alice Chang, who will be our parliamentarian for the next school year. Alice? Thank you. And with that, we have elected our next board members. Robin. We have great years in membership.
Okay. I just wanted to give an update on our membership numbers thus far. Our goal is 786. That's the current enrollment for the school, and we are currently at 814 members. So we've reached our 100%.
As a result of us having achieved more than 100%, we have nominated ourselves for membership awards at the first district and at the council level. Fingers crossed, we get it. Mostly we get it. Okay, moving on, we have our financial secretary's report. Sajid Minay could not be here today, but I'm happy to report that we deposited more than $6,156 since our last meeting in January. The report is available for your review. Can I get a motion to adopt the report, please? Can I get a first? Susanna, second? Diana? Do I have any? The ayes. Do I have any? All in favor of the report?
Aye.
Any nays? Report adopted. Okay. Next is Alice Chang, our treasurer.
Hi, I'm Alice Chen, this year's treasurer. Balance on hand as of January 21st, 2025, $42,776.80. Total income, $6,571.23. Total expenses, $8,801.87. Balance on hand as of March 25th, 2025, $31,966.34. So I'm going to motion to ratify checks number 2076 to 2076 to 2096, total $8,701.87. Can I get the first? Robin, second? Diane, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion passed.
Thank you, Alice. And now I call upon Arena 2, our financial reviewer, to present us with the mid-year audit report.
I, the financial reviewer, have examined the record of the treasurer and the financial secretary of Dahle Ave PTA for the period July through December 2024 and found them to be correct. So I move that the financial review report be adopted. Council motion, can I get a first? Can I get a first? Susanna, can I get a second? Erin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion passed.
Thank you, Arena. Our next report is from our Ways and Means team, Peggy Chen and Li.
Hi everyone, we are Ways and Means, which is focused on fundraising for the school. We have organized many fundraising events such as Halloween, Hollywood Hustle, and the restaurant night. And we have weekly Friday bicycle sales at Holly Avenue Gate. And for Halloween Hustle, we raised almost 36,000. We appreciate all the support from our Holly family. And we will continue doing our best to bring more fun events for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy and Lily. And with that, we come to the conclusion of our meeting. Our next association meeting is going to be on May 21st. At this meeting, we will be presenting our honorary service awards, and we will have the induction of our new PTA board members. So please put it in your calendars to be here on May 21st. We will be sending out flyers and information about that closer to the date. Thank you for your support of Dahle Avenue PTA. Thank you all for coming out today. We totally appreciate it, and it is with your support that we are able to do what we do for our students and for the Dahle Avenue community. A special shout out to our principal, Mrs. Oakland, and all our staff and teachers here at Dahle Avenue. I adjourn this meeting at 7:34. Thank you and have a good evening.